shouldn't have ever come back to the barn. She just left it. We managed to sell our house and got a good price for it, and then we started renting around the corner in Peckham, and that enabled us to spend a bit more time to find a project that we wanted to do, a bit more sort of where did we want to go, and go on the journey of figuring out where that was and how it looked. And we, through a friend, met I don't know what the right word is, like, she's a property finderer. She's a reverse estate agent. She's called Jen, that's what she is. And we'd spoken to her a year before, and I think this must have been like 2023. We gave her our brief of what we were looking for, and we wanted to do a barn conversion or a similar, like, out of control project, which is exactly what we're here sat in. And she fully understood the brief of basically no money to find a bit of land, which was like, definitely wanted that for some space to combat the like feeling choked in London, and also in the countryside. And we wanted to be west because we like going and exploring in Wales or exploring further down in Cornwall with some friends and doing outdoor stuff. And we wanted that for us selfishly, but also wanted that for our kid. So she had some pretty like tight budgetary requirements and a tight brief, or it was a pretty open brief in terms of what it was, but just like the vibe had to be right. And I was sending her loads of stuff. She wasn't sending too much because I think she didn't want to like fatigue us with options, and knew that we were in London, so getting it out to look at stuff is kind of hard. And I remember I was in the middle of renovating Meg's business's office in Shoreditch, which was a fun project. And this spot came up, and she'd convinced an agent that she knew to convince their clients that maybe they should sell just the field or the paddock that our property is in now, and the barn as a smaller parcel of a larger listing. And it was a sunny day like it is today. Jen had got the architect that she knew to come and have a look around with us, and like I said earlier, it was just like, this is the right thing. You know, I'd sent her a million listings, and she was like, yeah, but you haven't thought about this or this, and you're actually kind of stupid. She didn't actually say that, but, you know, she said it politely. And yeah, there's nothing available online, and I think that was the sort of upside to getting someone's help. And I think it was well worthwhile. So yeah, we found this, we viewed it, and then we turned around and went back to London. And I remember being in the car with Meg, just being like, I think this is what we should do. Should we put the offer in now? Should we do this now? And we managed to calm down and decided that we were going to do it, but we should do it like adults. That's more the Meg side of things. And yeah, put the offer in, had a little negotiation, and yeah, I think we closed the deal on it in February 2023. It is now April 2026. And I'm still here, and I haven't had a nervous breakdown yet. Keyword, yet. But process-wise, we started with the architect sort of like trying to figure out what we can do with it, what the limitations would be, and peeled back the can of worms, which has been peeling ever since, or opening ever since. hoping to close this week with a mortgage. But part of many reasons why I wanted to document all of this was to help people who want to do something similar. And I don't really think that there's much available help online to sort of describe what I've been through, and especially in the last year, with regard to planning and that whole process. I think that's fairly well documented, but then the additional steps and insurance policies, or 5 that I currently have, to get the mortgage, and how hard it is to do something that is environmentally friendly and a self-build, and like the building we're sitting in, which there's quite a lot of. So yeah, I just kind of want to make that available to everybody. When we left here from the first viewing, I think we did a couple of them, but the first viewing, the sun was shining, the land was epic. I don't think I'd even realised the proximity to Bath, to some friends, really great friends. I hadn't pinpointed it on a map. I literally just took it for the vibe, the weather as a sign, which, you take that as how you want, but it felt like a part of the reason why I needed to, do the project here. The family who owned it clearly loved being here, and you can kind of feel that. So it's weird as well. I can envision what we're doing without a CAD drawing or a render or anything, but when I stand in here and try and envision it all, I don't really see the walls or see the glass, see the doors. I just sort of see a feeling which is quite happy of me, my family and friends enjoying the space. And I think that is the contentness that I just felt when we were here. Felt like we could create that, and that has been the reason that Meg and I want to build or turn this into a house. The stopwatch, or the timer, started on this project, I think, fully when we moved out of town to here, which was June 2023. I guess the clock started ticking then, in my mind anyway. And up until then, it was just pure excitement that we're leaving town. I had pushed so hard for this. Not that Meg has not been up for it. She is, but it's been a lot for her. I am a boy chasing my dream. Meg fully has supported that and held down the family finances, whilst I dived into the project, and so there's a lot emotionally in that, the guilt that she's still running a large creative agency in London, which is super hard work. She used to be able to commute easily to the office in East London, and now I dragged her out of town where she has to drive to the station, get a train, which is a whole production, get the tube all the way in and deal with all of that and come back, and she can do it 2 days a week. It's hard work. With our kid, she is a different, happier person who we can let be outside, who didn't want to walk in the grass when we first moved here, and now is climbing around in the digger having a laugh with me and sitting on the lawnmower and driving the pickup truck around the field. These are all things we wanted, but nothing's black and white. Nothing's as simple as we've moved, it's better. And when we started, it was straight into moving some walls around, tidying up, and a real positive trajectory into the summer. The weather was unreal, stuff was getting built, exciting things were happening. The mortgage application was in. There was a lot of like good things happening, meeting new people, building our community, or building my community while Meg was still commuting. And even though lots of stuff was happening, we were still kind of separated, Meg having to be in her old world and me being in the new world. And that guilt happened more. And as we were hoping to get our mortgage and needing the mortgage to continue the project or start not just on infrastructure and the access to the site, that put a lot of pressure on our relationship, especially as like getting our kids settled in school and a lot of other financial stress. But take the loss, the big L on not getting the first mortgage sucked, but it had been going on for so long that I saw it as an opportunity to reevaluate where we were at. We've worked on our relationship. I've worked, brought some money in, paid off some debt in my business that had accrued while I was working here, and also just got a bit more of a sense of like ownership of my own shit. And I think also I'd spent like 2 months in the lead up to like getting that first mortgage application rejected, not doing anything. I was like suffocated by the hope of getting the money and not wanting to really dig into the project emotionally. So I was just like going around in circles existing, and I think I wasn't ready for it. And mentally, the last, I think October is kind of when we got our mortgage. I can't remember if it was October or November. The mortgage got rejected, and it was a bit of a relief, but it was a big hit. I think it made Meg really question what we were doing, and that was hard. There was a lot of arguing because I was like, this is my mission, like this is my life's purpose. And she's like, if we can't afford to do it, we can't do it. And I was like, we will do it. And yeah, I think I was a bit of a dick in the way that I explained that to her. And I think I didn't fully understand everything we needed to do, everything admin-wise, everything wasn't clear to me. And I think then winter really hit. I managed to work and sort some stuff out. By working and doing those things, I managed to sort of like turn a page and push through those anxieties and things I didn't understand, and just sort of reevaluate the whole thing and include Meg in the work that I was doing on the barn and update her, rather than just like resenting the fact that she couldn't physically be here doing it with me. I think like I just wished that she could be here doing everything with me, planning it all. And the reality is that we have to like divide and conquer, but the way that we divide and conquer can also be done in partnership, rather than just like head down doing it by yourself. And she's super thankful for that, I think. She has told me. And it's a lot more positive now. The sun's out. It's spring, mostly, and ready to dig in. We should get the mortgage. We should have the mortgage now, basically. It's signed. It's happening Thursday. So I am very excited, and also the dread and fear that Meg feels is it's more steady enthusiasm rather than turn the other way and run. The hardest thing has been dealing with my own mind and how that affects everything, from my relationship with my wife to how to like attack this project clearly and how I conduct my daily life. I think the hardest thing has been like looking at myself inside and outside honestly, and taking control of my actions. Really, that's been real hard. But I think by like making spreadsheets that have a plan of how to like sort my finances out, has enabled me to contribute more to the family and run my business better. And the doing the work around here, filming it, editing it, has got me more work, which has helped the like lack of self-belief. I sort of go in waves of lack of self-belief and loads of self-belief. So I'm just trying to like not flatline but stay level on a day, and I think trust myself in all aspects, whether that's like dealing with finances. Trust myself I will be able to make the right decision and understand things that I don't, and also trust myself that it's okay to not know. I think that's the thing I like the most about stuff like this, is learning constantly about everything, whether it's like how to use a tool or how to navigate this. And this is life, I think. What's keeping me going, or what has kept me going through the winter, I guess, the darkness, the wet, the mud. Once I have slowed down and to trust myself and the process a bit more, I have noticed things that bring me happiness more. And that's like the core memory of driving the dumper around with my kid, or watching Meg quietly on the other side of the field look into the valley, and I can see her imagining what we're about to do, and not trying to like force that this is the right thing to do. It's like believe that it's the right thing to do, and just paying attention to those little nuanced pieces of life, little nuggets of the future life that I'm trying to build for my family. And that has reinforced the decisions that we have made. While there's not actually been any physical progress on site up here since October last year, I've made a lot of progress with the mortgage, the organisation in the back end of the whole project in its entirety, and also just been building things for clients, building things for Mark, my neighbour who's had some really fun jobs, just learning generally, whether that's emotionally learning, mentally learning some new skills on how to manage projects, or learning more physical tricks and skills with regard to actually building, and constantly downloading more information about the project, and allowing myself to like look behind the like so-called door of this project, without getting too deep in that. If we didn't get this next mortgage, there would be a lot more harder conversations to have. It got pretty close to that over the last few months, of like us having to maybe pull the plug and like look realistically how that pans out. So daily life recently has been waking up, getting the gym sorted, getting my emails done, and then building for most of the day for clients, and then coming home and doing bedtime with the kid and eating something as fast as I can, and realistically putting in another 2 or 3 hours work on the computer every night, because the admin has been unreal, the volume of it. And that was the shift I spoke about earlier, from being paralyzed by the sheer amount of work that needed to be done here. No money to do anything. That mortgage going to shit versus pulling up my socks and taking control of everything. I think like a lot of friends and family were like, "You're doing your best last year," and I was like, "If this is my best, I don't know what I can achieve." I was stuck, but feeling like I was doing my best, but knowing it wasn't, and just being paralyzed. And that was it was pretty isolating, trying to be vibey about the project and keep myself and everybody else involved like hyped about it. Every day has been like a learning of how to take a bit more control back every single day and then just grind to get these deals over the line. There's a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls and a lot of learning some words that don't make sense. A lot of things I've just mentioned have made it harder and better to survive mentally daily, and also prepare myself physically for building a house, right? Like, I am physically stronger at carrying things, but the weight of everybody asking, how's the mortgage going? When are you gonna do this? How's the project? For like, let's face it, fucking 4 or 5 months of me not really having any information apart from I've opened my laptop and sent 1,000 emails and nothing to show for it. That was hard. The gym's also been a place to meet local people, meet a load more tradesmen who will be able to help find some work to weather the winter out and make some money, and generally like find a community of people who have definitely supported me mentally through the down time of the barn. I think that's how I'd feel. It's got that like positive and negative. You can kind of hide everywhere else, right? In terms of like the reality that it's kind of confronted daily on where I'm at with the project, and I think that's helped me stay aligned in the fact that like this is what I am doing. It needs to be done. I need to do this. Over the next 12 months, you can expect to see me turn this barn into a family home. That family home might not be finished. There might not be bedrooms, but you'll watch me navigate the ups and downs and do my absolute best to create the dream home for my family. I have made the promise to Meg that I will turn this into our dream family home. Multiple occasions, so much that I think that sometimes it falls on deaf ears, but I genuinely mean it, and I think the last few months of my hard work, rather than me just saying the words, the actions have been proving that to her. And every day that I'm going to be building in here and every hardship I hit, I'm going to be remembering that promise. And that is what is going to get the house built.